Excellent. Hello, everybody. I do seem to be live. Yay! Hooray! I wasn't sure if I could go live that well. I am going to sort of apologise in advance. Let me just get rid of that little picture so I can't see myself. Is there anything more distracting than seeing little pictures of yourself wittering away? Anyway, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to go live because, issues and things, but I have completely restarted my computer and I've restarted my Wi-Fi, and hopefully I'm all ready to go live. Just kind of wondering, I am on time. Pretty sure I'm on time. I'm just going to turn my phone on to do not disturb because that's the best way to do it. Anyway, I can see I've got a whole grand total of one viewer. I don't know who it is. Hello, viewer. One viewer. Who's on? 2 viewers. Yay! Wow, we're really cooking with gas now. Anyway, I don't know if you can't make it on, you might be watching this on replay, in which case my comments will probably make no sense to you at all. Anyway, right. So thank you so much, Nicola, for inviting me on. It's really great to be here. I'm really excited. I have got notes to speak from today because I have this real tendency just moving all my things away. And I can see, once again, my computer's going to be doing this really annoying thing where my light flashes on and off. And I can see I've got a comment, but I can't see who it is. Anyway, oh, hello, Amanda. Anyway, I've got this annoying thing. I don't know why this happens. It doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes my computer light flashes on and off. And I know it just pauses and it just glitches for a minute. So I hope it's not going to cause too many issues. But I think usually you can hear me talk, which obviously is the only important thing. You just hear me wittering away. That's obviously the important thing. Anyway, right. So, once again, thank you so much, Nicola, for inviting me on. I'm delighted to be here talking about how to get organised and why it's important. I am reading from notes today because otherwise I have this real tendency to go, squirrel, and my brain just goes and I really struggle. So I have got some notes. We'll try not to just be reading from them because I do know what I need to say. I just want to make sure I remember it all. Anyway, so if you don't know who I am, I'm Rosie Barron. I'm the Tidy Coo. I'm a professional declutterer and organiser. I'm a KonMari consultant, which means I am trained by Marie Kondo. Always amazed by how many people don't know who Marie Kondo is. But she's a Japanese decluttering guru. She actually has written this rather excellent, she's written lots of excellent books. But this is the really excellent book if you are for work. And I can see my light flashing again and again, just making sure I don't drop the book before the light goes. Anyway, Joy at Work is her book, a really interesting book. It's written with Scott, whose name I can't pronounce the end of. But anyway, so really good book there. Some of the tips I'm speaking about today will come from that book. My job usually is to help to bring space and pace. Space and peace into your home and life. Hi, Nicola. Right, space and peace into your home and life. Today I'm going to be concentrating largely on the business side of things because tidying can have a really massive impact on your business as well as your home. I live near 5e. I travel all over the northeast for my job, and I have a husband. I was about to say with my 4 husbands. No, with my 1 husband, my 4 children, who I home educate the whole time, not just during COVID, and also 8 ponies, about to be 9, 5 dogs, 3 cats, 2 bunnies, chickens, ducks, poultry, fish. So clearly I'm not any sort of a minimalist. And I am often asked, though, how I get everything done in my life, which is, run a successful business and do everything else. And it really does just boil down to the fact that I am decluttered and organised. Couldn't do it. Particularly, we'll talk a little bit towards the end about decluttering your schedules, but that's a really important part about this, is focusing on what you want to do. Anyway, so I know what I need to get done. I know the tools I need to get it done, and I can find these tools easily. Be that physical tools, such as my labeler and boxes, digital tools such as files and emails, or mental tools such as the ability to focus on what I need to get done and the ability to discard mentally the stuff as well that I don't need to get done. So today I'm going to talk through the best method to get anything decluttered and organised, and then I'm going to talk about how it relates specifically to the business side of things. At least I am. Hi, Isabel. I am, if I remember to do all those things anyway. But first of all, so why organise? Well, studies have linked being in a cluttered environment to raised cortisol levels, which is a primary stress hormone. Increased cortisol levels can make us more susceptible, and I am going to read from my notes at this point to make sure I get it right, but can to make us more susceptible to all sorts of things like mental health issues, such as depression, hi Susan, depression and now I've lost my place, and insomnia. Okay, so depression and insomnia, as well as physical health issues such as heart disease. So from a business point of view, and I know that many of us in here are running our own businesses, huge amounts of time and therefore money are wasted when we can't find something, not to mention the money that we spend replacing items that we can't find. I know that we will have, let's take a swig of tea, creative people in the group who will tell me that a messy environment brings out their creativity. And I'm certainly not recommending to every single person in the group that you should have a bare desk to work at. Because what's actually important here is not the amount that's left in the environment around your work area, but you feel a real sense of autonomy and control over this. I'd just like to recommend this book, Messy. I found it a really interesting read as somebody who's quite ordered in my life, but he talks about when you are being messy and the joy of mess, I guess, is what he talks about. But actually, what I really took away from this book is actually what's really important is a sense of autonomy over your space. It's a sense of you being in control over your space. So if you're somebody who likes to have a lot of things around, that's great. But also, anyway, I realise, again, I told you I tend to squirrel. Come back to what I'm trying to say. Anyway, so that's right. I was trying to say that bit about autonomy anyway. So if you're a painter, for example, and you like to work surrounded by paints and pictures, that's great. But it will be much easier if you can get your hands on the things that you need when you need them. And if you are, I put a sewer here, and then I was about to read it as sewer. If you are a sewer, if you are somebody who sews, a seamstress, and you love all sort of haberdashery equipment around, again, that's great. But you need to be able to get your hands on the scissors when you need them and to find your sewing machine buried under stuff. There's a lady down the road who does millinery. Oh my goodness, I'm desperate to get my hands on her stuff because I know that she's got almost a whole house packed full of stuff, but I'm not sure that she can find it all and use it all. So I would never say you should just like get rid of it all, but I'm saying if it's tidy and organised, you can find it, and then you can make better use of your time and better use of your creativity. So I do help a lot of creative people to bring order to their home and their workplace. And one of the biggest things I find is that whilst we may start with I can't let go of any of that, once I suggest we do an audit and we to make things easier to find, they often realise that there's things in their collection that not only do they not love, but that actually they actively dislike. So tidying is not about creating a minimalist masterpiece, but about making your life easier. It's not about Insta-worthy or Pinterest perfect, but it really is about living your best life. And I've realised that the reason my light keeps flicking on and off is because I think it's my internet coming and going slightly, which is really annoying, because like I'm on a special one out here. Anyway, so how to organise. I'm going to run over the steps of getting organised that you can use regardless of whether you're doing it in your home, in your office, on your computer, or in your diary. And those steps are: work on your vision, declutter first, make positive choices what to keep, go for the easy wins first, work in categories, handle everything, and let go with gratitude. I always say leave storage solutions until after you've decluttered, but general rule of thumb is store like with like, make use of vertical storage. So I'm going to drill down into these one at a time. I wouldn't normally say drill down, but hey, doing a work thing, a business thing, I'm going to drill down into these. Vision work. So this is something I know that Nicola will have talked about, but planning is as essential in decluttering as it is in your business. You need to know where you're going, and you need to know what you're trying to achieve. So when I'm working in people's homes, I often use the phrase, if I could wave a magic wand. And the same could be said for your office space. You know, if you could wave your magic wand, what does that space look like? And if you could wave a magic wand, what would your ideal day feel like? How would it go? I can almost bet you that your ideal day is not going to include something like spend 20 minutes looking for scissors, spend half an hour searching for that document, spend, I don't know, that's not your ideal work day. Certainly not mine anyway. So start there with what your ideal, where you're going, what your ideal time, day, blah, blah, blah is. And, you know, I can just see, I can see, hi Nicola. Anyway, so start there with your ideal work and write it down or create a vision board. But get it out of your head. Get it out of your head, get it down on paper, make pretty pictures. If you're an artist, maybe you want to make pretty pictures. If you're not an artist, if you're someone a bit more like me, who's a bit more like, then write it down. And then I would say declutter first. Always, always declutter first. Because I have seen organisation systems worthy of a museum, but there's no point in them. The items are simply being held in stasis. Declutter before you organise. Make positive choices what to keep. So I see a lot of people keep things just because, or just in case, or because someone gave it to me. None of those are good reasons for keeping things. Just in case hardly ever happens. So you need to be choosing the things to keep based on whether they bring you joy or whether they're actually useful. So when I start in people's homes, we usually start with clothes as it's the easiest point, and I get people to pick one or two of their favourite things and to tell me about them. And they often smile. You see, it honestly is, because even when I think about like picking up one of my favourite items, it makes me smile. And there's a lift in their heart, and those are the things we're going to be aiming to keep. You want to keep the things that make you smile. Now, of course, some things will not make your heart lift for beauty, but they will for practical reasons. So practical things definitely have a space in our life. So I appreciate the tax return may not bring you joy, but it does stop you going to jail. Yeah, you know, so that's joyful, all right? So, you know, but keep things for a good reason. Don't keep them just because you've always had them or just because somebody gave them to you. Keep them because they support you in the life you want to lead. Anyway, go for the easy wins first. So people often get worried with what they're going to do with some of the things that are difficult decisions, or they want to crack on straight away into these high stress areas, and I am absolutely against that. When we learn to swim, you don't get like thrown into the deep end. I know a couple of people have been thrown into the deep end and they have swam and they haven't drowned and blah, blah, blah. But start, you know, your general best way of learning to swim is not to be thrown in the deep end, but to start with dipping your toes in the water, getting used to the water, getting into it a little bit more gently. You know, maybe you'll have some flotation aids. And then as you learn to go deeper, you learn to float, and you know, and then you learn your strokes and your techniques, so that by the time you get into that deep water, into the difficult decisions, you're reveling in your ability to swim in this environment. So please, please don't start by saying, okay, what am I going to do with Granny's tea set, unless that's an easy decision, or what am I going to do with this? Start with the things that are really easy for you. You know, that's what we do. Work in categories. And this goes the same, you know, whether you are working, whether you're on your computer, you're in your diary or anything like that. Work in categories really is the best way to make progress. Categories can be as large or as small as you want, but much easier to get all of your notebooks together and go through them than to go through a shelf, and then, you know, you go through a shelf and there's a notebook there, and then you go through another shelf and you don't know how much you've got. And until you know how many you've got, you don't know what, you don't know how many to keep if you don't know how many you've got in the first place. I always tell a story about this point of my lovely client who had 13 pairs of nail clippers. She had no idea she had 13 pairs of nail clippers until we went on a nail clipper hunt. We brought all the nail clippers together and went through them. Who needs 13 pairs of nail clippers? Bless her. I will say sometimes it's good to have perhaps a general pre-sort and a declutter of anything that's obvious. So like, you know, if you're bringing stuff together and you're trying to find all your nail clippers and whatever, as you're trying to find all your nail clippers, you come across some dead nail files, you know, chuck them, that's fine. And it's the same when you're going through your business stuff. You know, if you come across some stuff that's a real obvious discard, let it go at that point. So you may have a general pre-sort and declutter, but when you're actually properly working on it, do work in categories. It prevents something that we call churning, which is the movement of things around your home or your business that you can't quite make the decisions on. It just means things move from place to place when you can't quite decide what to do with them. As Barbara Hemphill said, clutter is nothing more than postponed decisions. Right, handle everything then is the next one we're going to do. And I realise I've got almost a page of notes. I obviously forgot to put a paragraph in this. I hope I can keep track of where I'm going. So often my clients look at me somewhat askance as I dive into yet another cupboard and drag the contents out into the light. And you're going to feel this when you're going deep out those files into the light to see what you're actually doing. But it really is important to make sure that you handle everything. So when I'm working with clothing, I'll have people say things like, oh no, well, I don't need to do the socks, they're all fine. But when I persuade them to do so, they let go of about half. You know, we'll get them out, oh, I don't need that. Oh, that's not it. Oh, well, I'll let go of that one. Because whilst it can feel like rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic, basically, and I know it really can, to be doing your sock drawer when the rest of your home is in disarray, or to be doing your ribbons when your haberdashery is, it really does help. Because what you'll find if you're doing your sock drawer is, you know, you'll get rid of, say, half, and then you'll store them nicely, and then you've suddenly got a half a drawer there, and then you do the next thing. Before you know it, you've created a huge amount of space just by doing these really small little categories, and it really helps. Sometimes you can do massive ones. And I often bring in the story of my client at this point who said to me categorically that she was keeping every single book that she owned on horses. Now, as someone who owns 8 horses, I was totally up for that, but I did say, yes, great, but let's just check them. Let's just check them, I said, and so she did. And she kept probably most of them, but she let go of about a fifth. And one of them made her so cross that she wasn't even going to send it off to a charity shop. She was going to burn it. Now, who needs that kind of negativity in their lives? So, you know, don't keep something like that. So I can see my light flicking on and off. And so when it flicks off, I do try to just take a breath because I know it'll flick on again. Yes, anyway, don't allow that sort of negativity to be in your life. Let it go. Right, let go with gratitude. It can be hard to let go of things, even following all the rules of easiest first, working in categories. Not every decision is going to be easy. People often have an issue with having spent money on something that hasn't worked or letting go of gifts that people have given them. And it's okay for it to be difficult. I just want to say this. It is okay. I know it's hard. In these situations, I would encourage you to be grateful to the object for whatever it has done for you. And you will find this often does make it easier to let things go. For example, maybe you bought an expensive dress that never quite fit right. For a start, you're not going to get your money back by leaving it in your wardrobe. But you should be grateful for the lesson it's taught you, which is, I mean, in this case, I would say never have anything in your, never bring anything into your home that doesn't tick every single one of those boxes. Don't buy that expensive dress if it's not bang on perfect. So be grateful for that. If somebody's given you a gift, remember that the job of the gift is to show love and respect. That's the point of a gift, to show you love and respect. It's not very respectful of that love if you leave that gift stashed in a cupboard unused. Release the gift to be used by someone else, because you're not giving away you're only giving away even the physical object. You're not giving away the love and respect that's come with that physical object. We really do have this tendency to attach too much too many emotions to physical objects, I think, in that situation. And that's not to say that I don't have things that are, totally sentimental I hang on to just because, but they're things that I actually love rather than things that I'm keeping just because someone's given them to me. I always say, leave storage solutions until after you've decluttered. So absolutely no buying of storage, right? After this talk, you're not allowed to go out and buy storage. You can buy storage later. Because once you've downsized your belongings, if you want, you can buy pretty storage. So mainly, I encourage my clients to use what they already have, especially during the process. But I do appreciate that it can be nice to have pretty things. And I love to add little touches of what I would term joy plus to areas. So a favourite piece of jewellery displayed or a cute ornament in an unexpected place. A few storage ideas. When looking for places to store items, ask yourself where you would look for them. That's always a really good place to start. So, where would I look for my keys? No buying storage, Nicola, until afterwards, okay? Stop it. So when I always say, where would I look for this? So where's your keys? Where should you store your keys? Well, where would be the first place you'd look for your keys? Also make sure they're easy to put away, because whilst we will always go somewhere to get something out, much less likely to make the journey to put things away. So put your systems where the things pile up. Always store like with like. It really is the easiest way. Don't have all your things muddled in together. Divide them into categories so they're easier to find. Make use of vertical storage. If you think about when we're shelving books, we always make sure that you can see the spines of the books, so we know what's what. And it's the same with any object. Don't pile things on top of each other so you can't see what's on the bottom. Always store vertically where you can, or it can be horizontal if it's sort of at your eye level or above. But make sure you're not, we're a bit like a pile of books where you can only see the top one. It's not a very easy way to find your stuff and use it. I got a little bit lost there, sorry. Squirrel. Anyway, so in that sort of thing, I often use shelf risers in tall spaces, and I look for unused spaces, say on the backs of doors and things, just so you can sort of see things more easily. I much prefer drawers to boxes, and what I mean there is I prefer drawers to boxes with lids, because what often happens if you've got a box with a lid is that things will get dumped on the top of them. I'm sure you will have discovered this as well. It's like that extra step of having to take the lid off and put the things in means that it's much less likely to actually be put in. It's often easier if it's some sort of pull-out drawer. Particularly important if you are creative and you need the space to work. I always talk about this in the kitchen as well. But if you are an artist and you want a lot of space to work with, clear the space off and then store the things. You make use of the space under the surface or up the wall. Because if things are in your way and you need to make space basically to work, you're wasting your precious work time by clearing it all away and then having to get it out again. So keep your work area clear. Also, keeping your work surfaces clear makes cleaning much easier. So I've spoken mainly about tidying up your physical belongings. I've brought in some ideas about using your workspace. And I'd just like to end it with diaries and obligations. Now, I've seen some of the things that Nicola has planned and some of the stuff she's been doing already. You don't have to go to every meeting you're invited to. You don't have to do everything that you're asked to do. You can say no. You can supercharge your time and your life. I really can't recommend this book, Essentialism, highly enough. It's a super interesting book. I put off reading it for far too long because I thought it was talking about minimalism and stuff, and I thought, oh gosh, I've read about everything I need to read about minimalism. It's not about minimalism. It's not about organising your home. It's about the way you look at things in your life. So I really can't recommend this book highly enough, Essentialism. It's about the way you live your life. So I think that's just about me, just out of words right now about that. I'm happy if anyone has any questions you want to whack in the comments, I'm happy to answer them. But I have a feeling that by the time you've got any up that I will be completely finished. So I just wanted to say, and if you want to leave any comments, and I'm happy to come on and answer questions later, just in the comments and things. If you found the stuff I've said here interesting, do feel free to follow my Facebook or my Instagram pages. I'm the Tidy Coo on both. I think I'm actually Rosie Barron, the Tidy Coo, now on Facebook. I have a free group. I'm sure most of you have heard about it, but it's called Get Organised with the Tidy Coo. You're more than welcome to join that group. I'll put a link to it in the comments. It's lots of information and stuff in there. A really helpful, useful group. I often do challenges and things in there. We're currently in the middle of a spring clearing challenge, which is just like little tiny short tasks to do every day. Anyway, we did Tupperware today. I was like, oh great, we'll do that. I am currently fully booked for in-home sessions. I can't wait to get out there. I really can't wait to get properly back out with my clients. But if you'd like to join my waiting list, then drop me a message. Finally, I have a set of paid-for workshops that are starting next week. The last set went so well. I was so impressed with the progress people made on it. So drop me a line if you want to know more about those workshops. They run over 12 weeks. They are 2 hours, so a 2-hour live call a week, basically. and they're really good fun. So if you want, it's sort of a nice sort of step between, you know, trying to do it on your own or in a group, to actually, I see my light flicking again there, to trying to do it on your own in a group, to but it's a nice step between that and having me at home. Anyway, I think I've taken up enough of your time right now. It's about 25 minutes of me wittering on, probably about 20 minutes more than anyone actually needed me to say. So drop any comments you want in the comments, and I will try and answer them at some point, and I hope it's been helpful. Okay, see ya.